email alert for me. That's a great way to start the stream. The stream just started, by the way. Mid to that sentence, I'm pretty sure.
Excellent. Excellent. We should start all our sentences halfway.
And, you know, I'm off-center, framed poorly here, so that's great, too. Mm-hmm. Hi, welcome to FixTheChat.com. We're live. Kyle and I were just discussing whether the dishwasher, which is running in the background, is making enough noise that we're going to be difficult to hear during the stream. So if anybody joins us today, Casey or Chris, are fans, both of them.
Yeah, plural. We get to use plural now. There are two of them.
Please let us know if the audio is no good. Of course, neither of you are here, so my saying that doesn't really help us any. So if we notice that you show up, we will.
It'll help.
I'm tired tonight, and we're already off to a wonderful start.
It's good times. I look forward to. Oh, there we go.
There's the show.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep. Can you hear us okay, Casey? We have a dishwasher running.
There we go. Now in 60 seconds we'll get an answer to that question. That'd be great.
So let's see. Lots to talk about this week, I think.
Lots.
Chris was here last week. That was a lot of fun. He played some of his... Yeah, you can hear us. All right, that's good.
We're okay.
Casey can hear us.
And it'll only get quieter. The dishwasher eventually stops.
Stop. So we played some cards on stream, and that was a lot of fun, but it was here all weekend, so we had opportunities to play a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff was played.
He and I played a good 7-hour game of Dark Souls that we didn't finish, Dark Souls the board game.
I bet that was great.
Which I'm still trying to figure out if it's a good game or not.
So
his position is that it is. I'm kind of like... I thought with first play with you and Rachel, I thought I hated it.
Yeah. Or
not hated it, but I thought, like, oh, it's a bad game.
Right. Generally disliked it.
But I was thinking about it a lot. It was on my mind.
Yeah.
And it has some kinds of mechanics that I enjoy in board games like it, with, like, character progression and loot grinding and that sort of thing.
I like those things. I like all those things.
I like games like Descent, is actually a game I like a great deal, or like Arkham Horror, that have loot grind sort of systems like that, or character development, permanence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. Well, I think the issue I took with it is it takes so long. Like, right. I kind of enjoy the moment-to-moment now. I've played it 3 times. I've played it more than anyone. Anyone on the planet.
The whole planet.
Anyone among our small group, anyway.
Yeah.
And I think I've come to enjoy the mechanics, but I think that it's probably realistically, even with experienced players, it's a 6 to 8 hour game consistently.
That's a
long time to spend on the game. As I said, Chris and I played for I think less than 7, but we started at 5, and we gave up at 1 a.m., but we did take like probably an hour and a half dinner break in there, which is what? 5 to 1 is 8 hours, hour and a half, 6.5 hours. 6.5 hours.
6.5. How close to done do you even think you were?
Well, we had gotten to the final boss.
Okay. But you have a limited number of sparks,
yeah, and
right?
we had 1 additional spark to try to face the final boss.
Wow. I feel like that took longer than our previous game took. Is it slower with 2 people?
No, but we played half a game.
Oh, interesting.
Like,
so
the boss we were fighting,
yeah.
After we had finished that boss, if we ever did, you never have.
No, I haven't.
You do the whole thing over again, and there's another boss and more loot and stuff.
Do you change the board state?
A little bit, yeah. You redo the board, you pick a new boss, there's new encounters, there's more loot.
Yeah, interesting. Huh. So we didn't finish the easy
So
part.
you and I, in 6 hours, or I think we only played about 5 hours, maybe even 4.
Well, and it was also the learning time.
Yeah. You and I played half a game.
Right.
And with my other group, we also played half a game.
Do the sparks replenish on beating the mini-boss?
They do in normal gameplay.
There's a not normal gameplay? Is there like a hardcore mode?
I suppose that's true, Casey, but I think you kind of need to. If you don't, you just lose. Right? It's designed around that, I'm pretty sure.
It does.
What was I saying? Oh, so anyway, we had played some of that, so
Yeah.
that was on something we can talk about. He and I were talking about it a little bit today, and I was looking at Kickstarter, and I realized that even though I have unsuccessfully completed a single game despite spending 16 hours on it.
It's a lot of time to spend doing a thing.
With just the base set. I have 11 expansions coming soon, so that'll be fun and interesting and exciting.
Are they going to show up all at once?
I doubt it.
Just like over the next year, you'll keep getting...
Year, maybe if I'm lucky. It's
11
Kickstarter.
expansions.
Over the next 7 years, I'm going to get...
Well, I mean, the fact that they got you a version of the game is not trivial. Like, that was a game.
Yeah.
And making a game is
solid.
not trivial.
It could be better. It has some flaws. I guess for the benefit of the stream, I can talk about it a little bit. The things I don't like about it are... there's basically only 2 tiers of gear, which is the gear you start with, which is not very good, and then good gear that you need to get anywhere in the game, but in order to get the good gear, you have to level a whole bunch.
Right, forced grind.
And the leveling is not rewarding at all in the mechanics of the base game, except to get the gear. Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit of this one. Yeah. And the time thing is, I don't know if you could make a fun game that's faster than that, but it's really difficult to get a group of people to play a game.
Like a fun game based
hours.
on the Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Well, I've never played that, Casey. Maybe I should someday.
JDM?
Kingdom... what does it stand for? Kingdom...
Dungeon something?
No, Death... I forget the...
Mayhem? Murder?
No.
Marbles? Kingdom Death Marbles?
No, but it's another game. Is it similar? You did play Dark Souls, Casey, and it is a Kingdom Death Monster.
I was close.
Yeah. I mean, I'm aware of it, but I haven't played it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, in my one session, a mere trifle compared to year 3, I felt like the parts that were taking a long time were not engaging. Which, ironically, was a problem that my game suffered from when we played that.
Oh, I could mention that.
We could, I guess that's true, Casey wasn't there for that.
I was going to go through all the games we played over the weekend, because we wanted to culminate in, with a little foreshadowing, we were talking about, immediately prior to this stream, we were about to talk about Ashes. Not Ashen, I want to call it Ashen, but Ashes, which is a game that Chris bought and showed to me, and Kyle didn't get to play, and I think he really wanted to show it to Kyle, but we played Kyle's board game instead.
Yep. I watched it.
So
watched Ashes.
We'll talk about... Well, you watched like half a game. We'll talk about that in a minute.
I completely understand everything.
Chris and I talked about that a lot, Casey. You guys played a lot of things really wrong, which I think made it a lot easier for you, but the game's up pretty hard regardless, so, like, not significantly easy. But I like campaign games. What's it called? Descent is a campaign game that I really enjoyed. Imperial Assault, of course, is the Star Wars version of that, which I only got to play once, but I was excited for that, even though I don't really like the Star Wars license very much. There's one in the Arkham Horror license IP now, which I was interested in trying. But again, it's the kind of game that I don't have a group that really would do that kind of thing regularly. We played Kyle's board game. Kyle made a board game.
I did. Why
don't you talk about your board game, Kyle? Or do you want to keep eating?
I'll keep eating. You talk about it's more interesting for me if you talk about my board game.
Oh, gosh. So Kyle has made a board game that he's been working on it for 4 years? Is that right?
Yeah,
Maybe more?
That's a bit deceptive. I guess it is fair to say I worked on it.
When did you start? I don't even remember.
It probably was 4 years ago. I feel like Chris was still local at the time.
Right. Which might mean it was more than 4 years
It could have been 5 years ago.
Yeah, he's been gone a while. Where is he? Casey, can you ping him on, what do you guys use, Discord? Mickey Mouse Pants?
Did you say Mickey Mouse Pants?
Yeah, their icon is I wanted to tweet this. I thought it was hilarious, but I wasn't the first one to notice. Their icon is a video game controller.
Oh, but it looks like
really looks like Mickey Mouse Pants.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it depends on how you define working.
I think the dishwasher just stopped.
It does seem as though that did occur. It might make some more noise. We'll see. I can't promise anything. Sometimes it sputters around. But, basically, I worked on it pretty extensively for a couple of weekends, many moons ago, and then it just kind of fell by the wayside. And we tried. You and I tried at least one previous iteration, and we tried two.
I think I've played it. I may be mixing it up with other board games you've worked on.
Yeah, I've tried some other stuff. Yeah,
I've definitely played it once before.
You absolutely.
I feel like I've played it a few times before, but I could be thinking of like
something else.
The card game you were working on. I might have them jumbled in my head.
Yeah, that's fair. That's possible. Yeah. But in any case, I would say this was probably the. In some ways, the most polished version.
So
yeah,
I bought you 2 board games as gifts to encourage you to be inspired by mechanics from them, and of course, those 2 board games were Dead of Winter and Kingsburg.
That's right, yeah. And you can maybe see little pieces of them.
Yeah, a little bit. But it's kind of like a Dead of Winter. It's a zombie survival horror game. It's competitive, but not directly. Like you don't directly influence any of the other players in the current iteration. And it's guaranteed loss condition, I believe. I guess there's a long shot success condition, but based on what we played, that doesn't seem very likely. And the rules even suggest it's not very likely.
Yep.
So basically, you play until everybody loses, and then you count up your victory points to see who lost the least.
Yep. That is a quote from the rulebook. That's good.
Did I quote it pretty accurately?
Yep, it's you. Very, very close to it. The idea to see who lost the least is the phrasing in the rulebook. Because the idea is, of course, the zombies always win in a zombie apocalypse.
A lot of flavor to the cards. That was solid. I got kind of screwed by positioning and perhaps some random luck. There is a lot of randomness to it.
There is.
Possibly too much randomness at this point.
Yeah, I think, and it's interesting because, like, I will comment to the effect that, like, it's still definitely a work in progress, but I overcame some of the hurdles that I had left, sort of conceptually.
Right.
And there's been some conversation initially with Chris and then with Ian. Ian sent me some great suggestions that, to be fair, I can't call a conversation because I haven't responded extensively to him. It's been a busy work week, but about where it needs nips and tucks to bring it in. And I talk with people a lot about how sometimes the difference between, like, an okay design and a very good design can be just a couple of changes. And so the next stage is sort of, we certainly don't want to try, I think, every suggestion all at once. We try a couple of things. Right. We see how that affects the experience. And I do think we gather enough information that I'm comfortable not testing that iteration again, because I do think there were enough aspects of the experience. I think that the biggest thing that I feel like is a certainty is no amount of being familiar with the game will reduce the number of micro steps that happen at certain points. And one of the weaknesses in the game was there was a particular...
It was a little fiddly.
Yeah, it was a little too fiddly. And that's a great problem to have, because it's very much like, okay, how can we shift these elements around, move them around? And then it's like, it's great to find things that are getting in the way of fun that are that tangible. And it's I'm not even going to say possible. I'm going to say likely there are other things that are getting in the way, but we were able to identify that and maybe one or two other sort of key elements that can be refined to bring it closer to what it's supposed to be.
It's funny, I don't know how to, because we don't have anything to show on stream. Maybe we should stream it someday.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Someday.
We totally should stream it. Once we have, like, another slightly improved iteration.
But I feel like I don't want to go through a breakdown of all the mechanics. Hey, Chris is here. Hi, Chris.
Totally.
Because we don't have any visual aids, and it'd be like me describing my memory of your game, which is kind of
and
awkward.
Even if I got it out, enough of the mechanics may change.
Right. Plus, it's all placeholder. Fabrication is note cards and stuff, which would not show on the stream or anything. And it's complicated.
Yep. Totally.
TTS. So I'm going to talk about what I didn't like, which is going to make it sound like I didn't like it because it's all I'm going to talk about. And the issues I had were mostly that I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kingsburg, but there is a sort of a build up your settlement mechanic, but the resources were way too scarce to really get
not
anywhere
a well handled,
there.
Not a well handled economy.
Hi everybody.
Hello.
And the other issue was I felt like there were some positive feedback loops or negative feedback loops. I mean, either way, it's the same
Feedback
problem
loops.
either way. Yeah, there's feedback loops. So like, if you're doing successful, you do more successful, or you're like a whole bunch of systems were sort of tied to the same success or failure. So if you succeeded at one thing, you succeeded at a lot of systems.
Yeah.
And if you didn't succeed at it, you just didn't succeed at a lot of
totally.
systems.
And I agree with the assessment. Like, my one regret, I mean, so for the benefit of all viewing,
Tabletops.
for the benefit of all viewing, I didn't have a chance to really playtest the latest mechanics iteration at all prior. I was basically crunching to get the damn thing done so that we could play it while Chris was in town. And as a result, there were some things that, like, I think if I had run one full simulation, it would have become clear that the economy was like, there was definitely an imbalance there. Now, I'm not sure I would have had time to fix that prior, but I would have at least maybe you start with 3, or like band-aided it so we could have evaluated the rest of the experience. But that's okay. Like, I know, I think the criticisms that were presented were entirely valid. I think they were great. Like, it was very constructive feedback, and I actually am pretty pumped to do another iteration, and so I'm excited to do that, because I felt like there were some aspects of it. When I start with any game concept, I'm thinking of it sort of like, what's the experience that we want to have? And I think there were enough elements of that experience, sort of that story and that sort of simulating that hopelessness while being a little campy about it, that I really wanted to achieve. And I saw enough of those elements in this iteration that I feel like I'm starting to be closer to on the right track. So now, again...
And I can't speak to that. I mean, I did...
Well, you were the settlement that just got eaten, basically.
I can't speak to how the game felt, because the way it kind of played out is my settlement failed pretty quickly. Or, I mean, I don't know if you call it that. Like, it's not that my settlement failed, and maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe it would have been a better experience had my settlement just failed.
Right.
It was simply that I had a failure to launch, which meant I kind of couldn't participate in the game a whole lot until the point at which it was clear that I was about to fail and I had to exit the game.
And I liked that you had that option, actually. That was still kind of rewarding. It's just that you felt you had nothing better to do for the whole game, essentially.
Yeah, that's true.
That's bad.
Yeah.
And if you're playing to a point and you're like, okay, I'm reaching a cash-out point, having that option is good. And I actually think, to a point that you talk about afterward, that was actually one of the more gratifying parts, is when you realize that was a viable option. And it will feel like it hadn't all exactly been for nothing, sort of, in a sense. So I think that was good, and that was partly the intention there to have that door. It just, like, when it's the only door presented because the economy isn't quite balanced, is not a favorable experience, but there's still a good capstone there, a good piece of the puzzle was sort of potentially revealed. Obviously, we want you to enjoy the journey as much as the destination.
Well, I could see it. I got screwed. And I can, there's almost no game where that can't happen.
Right.
But I think it needs some tweaks to avoid it reliably happening in your game.
I absolutely agree. I think the one other thing I'll comment on, and then perhaps we'll transition to some verses or discussing Ashes a little bit, perhaps. Sure. But is the game did end. And it sounds stupid to sort of observe, but games, one of the trickier things in a game is finding a way to wind them down. And
well, I will speak to Kyle's particular history with this.
Yeah.
Kyle's games tend to
not
stalemate.
Yep.
Forever, which is maybe a sign of a good balance between the player capabilities, but a lot of games that he's built that I've played just end up in an unwinnable situation that also doesn't end the game. So the length of his game was actually really good. It was about an hour and a half for first play, which is good. Yeah.
Right, and that was counting some of the fiddly bits. So by removing some of the fiddly bits and adding in a few more strategic options, we'll probably get a similar game length that will feel more... just put some ramen on the back. This is why we use sleeves, folks.
I use them to cover my arms.
That's well played. Yeah, I think we'll get something that feels like a richer, deeper experience, and that's good. And one of the suggestions that I saw that you made, which it was just sort of amusing, a very brief musing about like camp interaction or the ability to like raid other camps. That's something I actually had thought about, and I just couldn't quite figure out a way to integrate that yet. But I like that idea, and I think it's okay if the game is more of a journey game, but I think that some direct interaction, especially if it happens at certain occurrences.
Well, it is Risk. I mean, are you one of the two people, or is Chris the other person? Do you dislike Risk Legacy?
I was not
Risk Legacy.
I have not played a game of Risk Legacy to completion. I played Risk, OG Risk, as a kid.
Of course.
And as a kid, I liked
played
it.
the heck out of it as a kid, and as an adult, who is now kind of a board gamer.
Right.
It's a terrible game.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment, I think. Risk's got its problems. Yeah, so Risk... I've never played a game of Risk Legacy to completion, or played a cycle, which is what would be necessary to fully... I am familiar with how the Legacy premise works, and it's interesting, but yeah, I don't have a full evaluation of it. It's interesting.
Okay, yes, I hated it, and I do hate everything.
Yeah,
that's true. Mm-hmm. Both of these are true.
Yeah, both are true.
I hated it less than Risk. But it also has positive feedback loops, which is part of the problem. Or negative feedback loops.
Feedback loops.
So I played of Risk Legacy. Now we're talking about this is a stupid thing to talk about on our stream because it's a stupid game and not worthy of the time we're spending on it. So that said,
I
played
hate
3
Risk
games, maybe 4 of Risk Legacy, and it's still like original Risk has the Australia problem, where the guy who turtles in Australia generally wins the game. But it also has the problem of the progression of the board state means that the first guy to win Australia can always have Australia, and then the other players have to like basically throw away a game to sort of break his hold on that kind of situation. And even then, he's still from such a strong position that we tried and failed on occasion to do that. So it's Risk. You can't fix Risk. Risk is just terrible design.
It's funny. It's a multi-game feedback loop set.
We did nuke Australia, but it didn't stop him. It didn't stop him. I wish it stopped him. I wish nuking it just made it go away.
Man, so many people say that about Australia.
We didn't get to a point where we could open another path. I don't know if that's a feature. Everybody hated, like nobody, even the guy who was winning didn't enjoy the game.
Right.
It was owned by a friend who is I would say he's probably a board gamer now, but he's kind of a newer board gamer than all of us, so he was still in that, like, I remember Risk when I was a kid, I want to play more Risk, and it's like, you poor man. Anywho, we were trying to get to...
a little Ashes conversation.
Ashes. Real quick, I'll say the other thing Chris and I played was Suburbia, which we talked about last stream.
Had he
2
played
streams
before?
ago, which he hadn't played before, so we played a game of that. So, Ashes. Ashes is a living card game. You guys are probably both familiar with it.
Yep.
I'm not. It's new to us. Well, a little bit. Chris introduces it to us. A card game that involves dice rolls that power abilities on your cards. It was okay. I didn't hate it. Even though I said I hated it.
Well, you also said you hate everything, so then you
hate
contradicted
everything.
yourself twice.
I kind of felt a little ambivalent towards it. So sorry, context. Kyle and I were talking about this a little bit when we got here tonight, which is why we're talking about it now. And I was about to tell him some things, and then he was like, maybe we should save it for the stream. We're like, that's a good idea. We should save it to the stream. For the stream. So...
I'm sorry, I have to ask, because Chris commented that he got destroyed in Suburbia.
Yeah.
Did you get the awful broken building?
No, I didn't.
Okay, just checking. That thing...
It was unrelated to that.
I don't like that thing.
2-player games of Suburbia are a little special because... the lead player has a lot more control over the like literally if a good building comes up, you buy it immediately,
right?
And then the other guy doesn't have it. and I had the resources early to do that, and I got to put Chris back in. So I wasn't even trying to, I was just playing the game.
Right.
But it made it a less good experience for him. I think it's better with more people. It does still kind of work with 2 people, I think. You just probably need to be a little more familiar with your game, the game, and make sure your strats don't overlap as much.
Yeah. I think the first game we played, was it 2-player or was Rachel playing that?
I don't remember. I think it was probably 2-player.
I think it was. And I didn't dislike it. Like, I appreciated the mechanics for it. So I
think it's a solid game.
Yeah.
It's interesting, at least.
Yeah, it is interesting.
It's not a whole lot like it.
I agree.
But Ashes, card game, collectible or living card game, and dice rolls, power your abilities.
Yeah.
Which I was worried about. Like, my initial reaction is, oh yeah, that's terrible because it means you can draw poorly and roll
poorly. Yeah.
But it seemed like there was enough in the game that you could use to correct it that maybe it's not an issue. Like that didn't happen in the 2 games that Chris and I
It's a
played.
fair amount of rolling.
Yeah. I mean, you can roll poorly, but it's not. It doesn't mean like you don't act or you have a terrible turn.
Well, I mean, this is when we talk about any game and we talk about feedback loops. Like, we expect some amount of feedback loops, right? We expect that the decisions you make earlier on influence what goes on later, or the outcomes early on have some influence. It's the magnitude of those loops that determine whether or not something is successful. Because if the person who's getting ahead feels like the other person can easily rubber band back in, it undermines the efforts early on. But the juggling act there is, of course, the person behind wants to feel like if they do make a good play of some sort, or have a particularly lucky outcome on a roll of the dice or what have you, that they can swing it back. So it's sort of like, okay, the good winning mindset is, I have the lead, but I could still screw this up.
Right.
And for the losing player, the person who's losing at the time of the mental evaluation would be, I'm losing, but if I do this just right, I can come back in it. Just thinking in sort of terms of general game philosophy.
Yeah. Well, my experience it's a good segue into what I didn't like about the game. I did shout at Chris and at Kyle that I hated the game forever, briefly, because I was being salty.
Yep, you were.
And that was because in our second game, we came down to a situation where I had a tremendously strong board position. I'm going to make a comparison to Magic, because this is something that frustrates me about Magic as well, which is my inexperience as a player of both systems, but it's still frustrating to me.
Sure.
Where Chris was just able to populate his board and turtle up enough that I couldn't finish him off, and game systems, and I'm not even saying this is that sort of game system, but game systems that punish action or don't reward action, or I should say, the way I should say it is, I prefer game systems that reward action to game systems that reward inaction. And you could argue, well, I was in 1-shot distance from Chris's counterattack after that turn, so I lost the game on previous turns and whatnot. But it frustrates me when I have like a million giant dudes and he's throwing little mice at me, and that's all like, oh, well, I guess I can't win, even though it really looks like I oughta.
I'll start by saying I tend to agree with that assessment, but I will add. I mean, we prefer games that encourage aggressive behavior, proactive behavior, because I think
active it doesn't have to be aggressive.
But so devil's advocate here, and the reason I used the language I did was because you could make the case that with the turtling or defensive play, there are sometimes as a player who is acting aggressive, it can be difficult to see. Now, I can't actually gauge that match, to be fair, but it might be difficult to see the moves that the opponent is making to try and achieve the result.
No, it could have been really difficult for him to do that. I have no idea. My perception was that it was frustrating. It doesn't matter how we got there.
I agree. I mean, your perception is no less valid because of that fact, and so that's something where you start to enter the challenge. I mean, this is true. This is one of the great ultimate challenges of games, is how you achieve sort of overcoming, I guess, not fundamental knowledge gap type things. I mean, you look at, like, there's the age-old discussion of, like, what's better, League or Dota, right, for the MOBA space, and of course now that...
The answer is both are terrible. What's wrong with you?
Well, and even there, I mean, one of the common sort of talking points is, like, a lot of people who really love Dota say it's way more strategic. But a lot of the people who don't like Dota, and I actually include myself in this bucket, I'm not a big Dota fan, is the amount of knowledge you need to reach to be competent And we say competent, it's because it's direct interaction. It's not like a systems game, right? It's not a game where we're building our settlements, and I don't know what I'm doing, so I fall a little behind. It's more like I don't know what I'm doing, so you steamroll me.
Yeah.
And it's a horrifying and unpleasant experience. And when it concludes, I don't even know what the hell you did. I just know that I felt completely overpowered. And what I don't know is that you actually bought this particular subset of items that merge into a blink dagger, enabling your character to teleport at level 20 behind me when I wasn't looking over a bunch of trees and assassinate me with a burst of consuming all of your mana in a particular series of spells. And that's what you did to ruin my experience. And it's like... And quite frankly, what I'm doing is a simplified example of a way that you can do crazy shit in Dota. And like I understand some of it conceptually. People often confuse complexity for depth. It's one of the great sort of game design axioms where it's very easy to say something's more complicated and therefore it is deeper. And that is not necessarily true because there's sort of like a finite number of actions that you can parse at any given moment. And when you, let's say you make 3 actions every minute in a game, like just a turn-based game. Well, if you reduce that to 2 actions per minute, well, the significance of those actions actually is going to increase. Those actions are more significant now because you're making fewer actions. So if you assume equal weight, now, each action is 50% of your outcome rather than a third. So those actions actually grow in depth themselves. So anyway, it's a bit rambly, but it's sort of, when you're picking up a new card game, and where this ties into Ashes is, and this is a problem that I would have playing Ashes as well, at least initially, is there's still that, like, you have to see things, because when you and Chris did some post-evaluation, there were some options that were on the board that were not obvious.
My board awareness was poor because I was unfamiliar with the game.
Totally.
And that was part of it.
Totally.
Especially for his abilities. Like,
right.
I could have made better choices paying more attention to what he could do at the time, which was public knowledge, or a lot of it was. And I was disregarding it because I was a new player and not cautious enough to pay attention to it. I had a power on my own board that might have been able to swing the game in my favor.
Right.
Part of the problem is I backed myself into the situation early in that game, in the bits that you missed, or maybe you just caught the end of it. I was fighting his rats, and of course he has the ability to throw rats into play for very cheap every turn. And I was fighting his rats because it felt good,
right?
But it wasn't accomplishing anything for me.
Well, it might have been accomplishing something for him.
It was accomplishing things for him. That was part of the problem. Like, I probably spent 3 or 4 turns beating on his rats and powering him up, and then I'm like, I'm not making any headway because beating his rats is not how you fight this thing. But anyway, new player stuff.
Well, and it's definitely.
But what I said before we started is, I don't know if I like the game. I said I hated it. I don't think I hate it. I have been thinking about it a lot. That said, it's not really a good, and I've talked to Chris about this a little bit, it's not really a good, I think, card game for our group, or maybe between you and him, but I feel like one of the things I really liked about Versus System is that we could each own enough different cards that we had a very unique set of plays. Of course, in a living card game, that's eliminated because we would be, were we to play it, we would be using the same card set. And that's the problem with the new Versus System, what we're having right now, is where we both like it less, but we wanted to give it a shot. And the problem I have with it is you have all the cards, and if I got the cards, my decks would be largely similar to yours, which I think is a problem that's worse in the new Versus System than it would be in Ashes, having talked to Chris about it a little bit. But
yeah, totally. And I think too. Why am I blanking? Momentarily name blanking. What am I doing?
What are you doing? I don't know what you're trying to say.
Name.
Casey?
Casey. God damn it. Why do I have such a hard time with Casey? I've been reading Walking Dead, and I kept thinking, no, it's not Carl. I know it's not Carl, but I've been hearing Carl in my head all week. I apologize, Casey.
And Chris, Kyle read your book already.
I did. It was great. I loved it. Thank you very much, Chris, for the kind gift. So yeah, Casey, talking about sort of knowledge weight. I mean, when we talk about weight of knowledge, I mean, I would describe it as the way that I like to describe it is it's the wall. It's the wall that everyone needs to get over to be able to experience what the game actually is. And it's yeah, I mean, it's definitely like, it is exclusive. That is to say, you can have a game that's has a lot of knowledge requirement and a lot of skill requirement. You can have a game that's low knowledge requirement and high skill requirement. Like these things can, or something that's very low skill and very high knowledge requirement. I definitely think Dota has a very high skill requirement and a very high knowledge requirement, for sure. And I definitely don't even belittle it by that. I understand that for people who can get over the wall, that it becomes a very rich, rewarding, competitive experience. But for me, the thing that always kept me away from Dota was the magnet. Like that's one of the highest walled games I've ever seen in my life, maybe the highest. I can't, off the top of my head, think of any game that has a higher knowledge gap between new players and expert players. I can't imagine. Like some fighting games obscure stuff, and it's hit stun, block stun, and vulnerability frames and so forth, but it's still a drop in the bucket. If you don't know everything in the world about Dota, there's a difference between, I mean, when we talk about casuals, I think casuals is a misnomer.
Get some water while you're getting to our stream and
yeah,
me.
Yeah, it's good. Because I think, like, when we talk about if we define casual by the amount of reading I need to do before playing a game, then you're right, it's not for casuals. But that is not how the problem that I perceive Dota as having. I think, like the only thing that keeps people from playing it is that it has 15 million moving parts for no reason. And I don't think it's fun to learn all those parts. I personally do not enjoy endlessly reading wikis to understand everything, or having the requirement that I play with friends for me to understand or appreciate any part of the experience. And it's not that Dota, like, there are many games that I don't think are really, I guess, there are games that can have a casual experience and also have a very, I guess, hardcore experience would be the opposing side of that, casual versus hardcore. But I definitely feel as though, I mean, Dota basically cut off part of its audience, potential audience, because it decided it didn't want it, or because they made design mistakes. And I don't actually know which it was. I mean, it was made originally as a mod for a very select group of people.
Does Dota 2 have that problem?
Yeah, Dota 2 is Dota 1. They called it Dota 2 because they gave it a new engine. They might have differentiated themselves more later. That's fair. And that was, again, that was one of the big issues I took with Dota, is they didn't want to attract an audience. They wanted to be very insular. And one of the big issues with Dota also is that the community...
Does that say pubing is a disease?
Pubbing, though it sure does look like pubing. Maybe two B's might have solved that, but I short for public, not pubic, as it turns out.
That was my contribution to this conversation.
Yeah, I don't know. Like as a result, the Dota community is the most hostile community I've ever encountered in my life.
Hostile,
in games.
And that's terrible for new players. Certainly.
Yeah, like so the issue is. Again, it's a
To
very...
be fair, the game you're comparing it to, League of Legends, their community is also quite hostile.
But a drop in the bucket compared to Dota.
Really?
Oh my god.
Wow.
The degree to which...
Well, I've never played.
Well, I won't share the things I was called on Dota, but I can tell you that the frequency of name-calling in Dota...
Later.
I guess you're old enough. Love you, honey. The sheer magnitude of vile, disgusting hatred in Dota is unmatched because there are a bunch of generally insular assholes. And there's certainly a percentage of them that don't fit that bill.
I suppose that's the way you can pronounce that word.
Yeah, I like it that way. And it's... And again, I mean, I think to Casey's point, that was desirable. That is the way they wanted it. They wanted an exclusive club of... only a small number of people, and to be fair, the game it started as a mod, so it grew with a community. It's a fascinating problem. So we actually have a similar issue in the game I work on, which is War Commander, which is a game in the web.
Kyle's going to talk about the game he works on.
Yeah.
He has not, I think,
very rare.
ever done that on the stream.
So a lot of games that follow a model like like War Commander uses, where you build up a base over time, over years, there's power creep in the game. There's escalation, and the escalation in War Commander was very, very much like, hey, new, more powerful content is introduced. And my game is like almost 7 years old now, which is kind of mind-boggling that a Facebook game has lasted for 7 years. That in and of itself is actually kind of novel. But what happens is when a newer player enters in, what they are encountered now is like, instead of 10 units to understand, they need to understand 20. And go in 7 years, and it's not 20, it's 200. Right. We have 200 units in the game, but we keep creeping past them. But this means that this creates this space between where newer players enter and all the content they have to push through, and that sort of higher tier of content where the game exists, where it goes on. And in Dota, and actually in MOBAs in general, this is very interesting. It was actually a very similar experience, except the power was knowledge. So rather than the power being more content, though in terms of power level, it was breadth of content. So it was more items in the store, more permutations of forging items, and more permutations of characters who weren't more powerful, but were more diverse and had more interactions. And of course, the permutations on a team go up exponentially every time you add a new character. So as a result, Dota basically suffered from power creep. It's just that their power was knowledge. And so their community gradually became more and more insular, and very gated, and therefore very vitriolic. And I actually do understand the vitriol, because when a bad player comes in, it ruins an hour-long experience for a whole bunch of people, which I would argue is potentially a design flaw. Whether that's with their matchmaking or game mechanics is sort of subjective, but the result that like one bad person in a game of 10 people can completely undermine a huge amount of the experience for the 9 other people is very unfortunate. So to Casey's point, it's very legitimate to say, that pubbing or just playing with random people, in other words, rather than a pre-constructed team of 5, is a disease, or something along those lines is the way you put it. And I do understand that, because when you do that, that's when you get one rotten apple spoils the whole bunch.
What do you do with people like me? I don't know 5 people.
Well,
I know 5 people who play video games, certainly.
And the answer in Dota is you don't play Dota.
Right.
And that is the answer they want, that the Dota fans want. And that's why the Dota's community has always remained it's relatively tiny. And it's not that it's trivial. Like, people play the game, it's still got its following, and I don't belittle them, the game they enjoy, because a lot of people do love Dota, but it's always been like a pittance compared to something like League, for that very reason. Good old League.
I like League.
Okay, final thoughts. Did we wrap up talking about Ashes? Basically, I was saying, like, maybe it's a game for us. I don't know. Yep. I have reservations. Chris certainly wanted to play with you on the internet or something.
Yep, through the internet.
So maybe you should do that.
And I do actually. I'll add one comment to Ashes, because I was going to just make a commentary point or two. I'll keep it succinct because we've done some good, fun rambling.
We're doing our. Thanks for joining fixthechat.com, our weekly podcast about video games and board games.
Yeah, totally.
We'll soon interrupt it for fixthechat.com, our weekly versus system stream.
Yeah, and Casey, I'll agree with the first half of your sentence before the and. But with Ashes, some of the things that I like smaller deck sizes. I like that they substituted random draw of mana for die rolling, because that means you don't have to dilute your deck with it. One of the big issues that I have historically taken with Magic, which is a common issue that Magic players face, is mana flood or being mana starved, and they sort of separated that out into Ashes into a controlled system. So if you imagine those dice as cards in a way for a moment, it's like you get to draw from your resource deck and you get to draw from your regular deck, and by doing that, that mitigated one of my problems. One of the difficulties I have with Magic the Gathering actually is it sort of alleviates that. So it keeps it a chance element, but it is able to compress that chance by putting into the dice. And you literally could do a very similar thing with a second deck. It would be very similar. It wouldn't be identical, but of course that would be lame to be drawing from 2 decks. So instead they're like, oh, let's just put this as dice. I mean, I can't say that was actually their thought process,
right,
consciously or otherwise, but it gets that result. And indeed. So I liked that. I liked that some cards, like, there's some element of surprise, but there's also cards on the table, so to speak. Literally in this case. Where, like, a lot of what the deck does starts occupying increased space. So it's almost like, it's a little RTS. You build up your unit.
I don't know if you picked up on this, maybe because you joined late, but it's even a step further than that. Because at least in the 2 games I played, there are instances, but they're exceedingly rare. In most cases, you take an action to play one of your cards into play that has an ability that you can then take an action on a subsequent turn too.
Right.
So you at least have, in most cases, a 1-turn heads up to something that might be about to happen.
Whoa.
I have no idea how to make that English.
I have no idea. Yep, go on.
Did you understand what I meant?
I did. It was just what your meaning was not lost in that sea of words.
Oh. So anyway, Ashes, anything else to say on that? Final thoughts?
My final thought would be, I am interested, but
Okay.
I haven't had a chance to play it yet. So
Yeah.
I'll probably check it out with Chris on tabletop.
Other thing I wanted to mention, and I will exceptionally briefly, because we're going to play some versus system in a second. We're going to play this deck.
Mhm.
I was going to tell me it's tier, and that is I've been playing a lot of Dead Cells, which is an early access PC Castlevania roguelike game that actually plays surprisingly well.
Did you mention it was science fiction-y, I think?
It's
is that
not
accurate?
science fiction.
Oh, is it? It is.
I
You
didn't
were
mention
like
that
a-
because it's not true.
What? You looked like the coloring was like very neon.
It's very like the colors are great. It's
Okay.
got a nice. I would call it comic booky. It almost looks
Okay.
like. It's more detailed, but it uses a color palette not dissimilar to like Hellboy, for example. Like, it uses a lot of bright, stark colors in its presentation. It's a pretty game. It's got pretty pixel art, pretty fluid combat. It's a good game. Check it out. I might stream it a little bit. I almost streamed it last night when Chris didn't stream his weekly stream, just to have something for his fans to view if they wanted to, and Bias fans. I mean, of course, Casey, because no one else would tune in to my stream instead of Chris's stream if I were streaming. But it's a quick game to get in and out of.
Yeah.
So you can kind of spontaneously stream it. Like it doesn't have a long-term
Right.
play to it
Right.
or whatnot. So I might do some of that. I will write some copy for it in case I need to do that at any time.
Double A.
Double A. And the other thing I wanted to mention is I still have been a putz and not uploaded any of our last 5 or 6 versus system streams. So I have all of tomorrow off, and I'm committing here on this stream to at least uploading 2. Now the reason it takes a while is I like to review the streams when I upload them. And I do that to make sure there's not audio issues or video issues in part, and remind myself how the games went a little bit, so I can add a little blurb to the YouTube videos. But I've been putting it off because I've been lazy and sick and all kinds of weird stuff. So way behind on that, but I will try to get 2 up tomorrow.
Two episodes, a good commitment.
Yep. And I will select an A deck. Let me make sure I'm picking from the right tier here. That was not informative. It's also not informative. That's informative. Alright. I rolled deck number 4. That is this deck. The one that I always play. It's so weird. I'm going to roll a different deck. Because I always play this deck. I'm so tired of playing the deck.
Are that the one you play every week?
And it's the one I play a lot. 3. 3 is a different deck.
That's a claim you've just made. I don't know how true it is.
Yeah, I haven't played these guys in a while. I think. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, Chris, to your point, my original intent for the Versus System stream was we would play some Versus System and talk about game design a little bit, because Kyle's a game designer, I'm a professional game developer. We both play board games and card games and video games.
And we're also both pretty goddamn opinionated.
And we're pretty opinionated.
part
My
of our
intent
charm.
was to probably do a little more analysis than we normally do, and probably do a little less analysis than we did tonight.
We actually did. Yeah, that's okay. We're balancing out for lost time. For sure.
But it's hard because, Versus is a thinking game, so sometimes we get caught up in the thinking. And by that I mean most times.
Yep. Yup, that is a true thing. Part of the charm.
Right, I'm going to roll a die because Chris destroyed me in the last game last week. And I'm going to choose the inner die.
The inner die.
Is going to win today.
Oh boy, inner die.
There it goes.
Oh yeah, here we go. Wow, that sure did win. 6-1. 6 times
So
my
what
roll.
do these guys do? They're probably odds.
I can't
No,
believe how
no,
great
they're
this thing is. I love this. That is a joyful thing to me.
It is a nice thing.
I think I got that like as a random stocking stuffer from my dad one year.
Go Kyle's dad.
Go Kyle's dad. He called that one. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. All righty then. I'm feeling really good about our shirt and tie combinations today. So I have this lovely purple, which matches Ian's purple, and then I have this
You can't
nice
see my
blue.
purple, I don't think. Not well.
Yeah, this is.
I'm wearing white.
You're wearing short sleeve, but it's white. We're generally like a very well dressed superhero team that's now going to play a card game.
I don't think I can keep these. I don't think I can keep these.
This card's cool. This card's fun to read.
I have mulliganed. I have mulled again.
Mulled again. I am going to mulligan as well. So instead of those other cards that I got these. Oh, I'm going to do the thing. It's going to be so annoying. But then I might not do that other thing. That's going to be less annoying.
Don't do an annoying thing, Kyle.
No
I
problem.
like you.
Did you go odds or evens?
I went evens, actually. I wound up going evens.
I have an aspiring pawn. The aspiring pawn.
I'm
says,
making faces at Kyle.
As well
Grumpy
you should.
faces.
Whenever aspiring pawn causes breakthrough while attacking a player directly, put a 1/1 counter on aspiring pawn, and it loses the version army and gains the version knight. Oh boy, it's a concealed character. I'm going to get to hit you directly. Oh, aspiring pawn.
I have Anarchy, who of course says whenever Anarchy attacks an exhausted character, that character can't ready this turn.
Okay, good news for you. You're going to come out ahead on this first turn.
Briefly.
Yep, so I'm going to attack you for 1.
I will attack you for 2.
Upon dealing you direct 1 point of damage, I get a counter.
And you can't ready this turn.
That's not a true thing. Good try. Aspiring Pawn Knight didn't fall for your shenanigans.
Aspiring Pawn Knight.
Yep. Okay. It's your initiative now. Let's see if we can get initiative. I feel like when you watched
we
that
had some
stream,
issues.
yeah, it was
we
not
had some
good.
issues last week, I think. I'm going to recruit Calendar Man, who Kyle hates.
Man. Oh, I hate Calendar.
I almost never recruit him though. Calendar Man's power is activate. Draw a card, discard a card at random for each character adjacent to Calendar Man. I may only do it during the combat phase.
It's a Calendar Mano.
Good old Calendar Mano.
I am going to recruit Sasha Bordeaux, who gets +1/+1 while equipped. Also, Knight team attackers I control get +1 attack.
Darn it.
Then, I'm going to flip this Checkmate Safe House. Checkmate Safe House is not unique. As an additional cost to flip Checkmate Safe House, choose up to 2 team affiliations among characters you control. I'll choose Checkmate. Cross them over. Also, I may activate it, and Checkmate characters I control get +1 defense while defending in my support row. Then, I am going to play Tricked Out Sports Car. I may exhaust a location I control rather than pay its recruit cost to put it on Sasha Bordeaux. It gives the equipped character +2/+1 and flight and range. Also, she gets +1/+1 while equipped, so she is a 6/6 with flight and range. Also, I have an aspiring pawn. That's a great turn. Best checkmate turn 2 ever.
Crazy.
Also, I have 3 cards left in my hand. I've played 5 cards.
And he's +1 attack because of that location, just always?
Checkmate, it is an activated power. I may activate the location to give Checkmate characters +1 defense while defending in my support row
How did not? Oh, she gives knight characters +1 attack.
while team attacking.
Mm.
There's a lot. Checkmate, it's a good deck to play earlier in the night because it's got. I mean, you want to talk about fiddly.
Yeah, Kyle's
yep.
cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle is cheating.
Yep.
I will exhaust calendar man to draw a card and discard a card for each character adjacent to him.
You sure will. You sure will. I'm gonna attack him for 6.
I'm gonna take 5.
Yep. Yeah, this is. I don't think I've ever gotten this turn 2 play, so I'm feeling really good. Like this is perfect 1 and 2.
I will attack Sasha.
As you must. I cannot ready this turn. I will put a counter to remind myself. Figured you might. I'm going to attack you for 2.
I hate that pun so much. So much.
Well, the good news is he's the only thing that readies right now. She does not. This, however, does. Interesting. This is a weird draw. I'll tell you that. A weird freaking draw. Well, it's my initiative. You are in luck. Having spent all my cards, I now only have Jacob Lee, who's a 1-cost hidden character. Jacob Lee is a 2/1 with range. I mean, discard a location card rather than pay is recruit cost. That's it. Far less spectacular this turn.
Get him himself. What do I do about
My broth. My broth here.
that?
Should probably do it with a spoon. This is not going to be good for pouring.
Yeah, I know.
Get like a ladle or something. You have some broth.
Thing, and that's a thing that I could do.
I will share my broth with you.
What does that get me? Actually, nothing if I play this. That's interesting. So I have to play this. Really? That's kind of weird.
I'm really glad I got rid of Calendar Man. Like, really, but I wish I had Sasha Bordeaux right now, because it turns out she had to also be my 3-drop as well as my 2-drop.
Which means, I guess she's a 6/6 always? Jesus.
I may activate this to give her +1 defense while
So
defending
many.
in the support row.
That's so many.
Well, he ain't going to be attacking you this turn, so it's all fine.
I'm going to recruit Charaxis.
Oh, I
That's
don't like
correct.
that.
Who can't cause breakthrough, and whenever he stuns an exhausted defender, KO it.
That's real annoying. I'm annoyed. I sure am annoyed. What deck? I think you're playing... I'm not sure. That's the problem. You could be playing Insanity. You could be playing No Adjacency. Boy, oh boy. I mean, Calendar Man's No Adjacency, but he could also be in the Insanity deck. I haven't seen any specifically insane cards.
I think the rules state I do have to tell you if I'm playing an Insanity deck before we play, if you need to, if you want to.
Yeah, spoils the fun. So I got a difficult choice here. I really want to get Charaxis with Jacob Lee, but it's close. That is a difficult position to be in, you see. Because if I can pull that off, it'd be great. I'd get another counter on Aspiring Pawn. Maybe I care about that too much. That's what's worrying me. It's really useful.
Do you mind if I recruit something else?
You may.
I should have recruited Power Armor on Charaxis.
That's 2 attack and can attack as though they had flight.
That is correct. Thank you for reading the card for me, so I don't have to.
Excellent. I'm full of useful memory things. But do I go for him with just one character and try to get the counter? What are the odds that you have the amount of defense that it would take to get over the amount of attack that I want to attack you with? That is the question. Didn't get a 3-drop. Didn't get one. Alright. I'm going to do it with just Jacob. We'll see what happens. I'm going to flip Brother Eye. Brother Eye has 2 powers. One, I may activate it to return a target Army Checkmate character card from my KO'd pile to my hand. It also has, I may activate it, target Checkmate attacker I control gets +X attack, where X is the number of locations I control. I will give myself +2 attack. My attack is 4. What are you doing?
I'm going to play the usual suspects. So this is not what I thought it was. What is what I thought it was? Search your deck for 2 different Arkham inmates character cards with the same cost. Reveal them and put them into your hand. Discard 2 cards at random.
What are you doing? 2 different cards.
Yep. I think I'm gonna go for the Riddler.
Do you have to exhaust a character to do that?
Nope.
You just do it.
Correct.
Okay.
Riddler and
Uh-huh.
and I could technically interesting. I'm gonna back that up. I'm not gonna get the Riddler.
Not
Is that
getting the
right?
Riddler. Hell with the Riddler.
That's bold. That's bold.
Don't do it. It's too bold.
I could get KG Beast and Crime Doctor.
What the hell?
That's scary, right?
I don't like it.
For turn 4, KG Beast and Crime Doctor and Char Axes with power armor.
I don't like any of that. I don't like that at all. That's just
With
rude.
initiative? Yeah, I think that's the right choice.
Now wait a minute. It's not just search for 2 characters.
Nope.
Also, I see 2 KG Beast.
Oops, I missed.
It's search for 2 characters, and then what?
They go into my hand, and then I discard 2 cards at random. But clearly, I will keep KG Beast and Crime Doctor.
Cleverly, however, it has been revealed you are not playing Insanity, because I saw 2 KG Beast.
You don't know, I could be just cheating.
Touche.
No one's ever looked at my Insanity deck to confirm.
That's true. You wouldn't have fun with it if it weren't really insane.
No, I wouldn't.
I'm onto you. 2 cards at random. I'm going to select this card here as one of the discarded.
That card is the hookup. I would have liked that. But I'm glad you didn't throw it out.
We're also going to get rid of this card here.
That one?
Yeah, that one.
That card, is Harley Quinn. Things just got interesting.
I don't like that.
When Harley Quinn is discarded, you may remove her from the game. If you do, target character gets -2 defense this turn.
Interesting.
What is affecting your visible character?
My visible character is currently just a 6/6. That is all the time due to the combination of the equipment and her innate power of getting bonus stats from equipment. This card may be activated to give her 1 more defense, while defending in the support row. Oh, the math. I think you should give Char Axis less defense.
Yeah, that's a good plan. I will target her.
Okay. No reason not to, even if you don't do anything with it.
Yep.
Alright, so I am a 6/4.
Didn't get either of them.
I don't know what that means, but I don't like the idea of it.
Anyway, I'm stunned. I will take a breakthrough even.
Okay. I am also stunned, and we'll take 1.
Anarchy will attack your 2-cost character, and I will reveal that I have Striker's Island.
What?
Activate. Target attack you control gets +1 attack this attack for each different cost among face-up resources you control. That's 2.
That is 2. Which makes your attack
4.
4. I do have the ability to give myself 1 defense on the board, so I can do it.
I hate your pawn. Hate him.
The Aspiring Pawn Knight is going to attack you for 3.
Gosh dang it. It's more, right? No, it's
It
2
is
stuff.
3.
friggin' night.
So you did attack with Anarchy again, so it's poor Sasha. Oh, you're going to kill Sasha.
I'm gonna try.
That's sad.
I'll kill someone better if I can.
That's...
That makes you feel better.
Thanks. Thanks. But I do get Jacob Lee, my aspiring pawn back. That's good. Oh man, Anarchy. Curse you, Anarchy. It's your initiative, yeah.
I will recruit KG Beast and Crime Doctor.
Yeah.
KG Beast's power is at the start of my attack step. Target player exhausts a ready character he controls, and Crime Doctor is return Crime Doctor to owner's hand, exhaust 2 target characters. Use only during your attack step.
So unless I recruit multiple characters, I will not be able to save Sasha, which makes me sad. Interesting. Your attack is huge. It's 7. Damn it, Charixis. It's a significantly larger attack than I would have liked. I am going to recruit. Read me Crime Doctor and KG Beast again, I'm sorry.
Return Crime Doctor to owner's hand, exhaust 2 target characters, use only during your attack step. And at the start of your attack step, target player exhausts a ready character he controls.
Right. Okay. I'm going to recruit Adrian Chase, Vigilante, to my concealed area. Adrian Chase, Vigilante, has concealed. Also, backup. Activate. Whenever target character you control becomes stunned by an attacker this turn, stun that attacker. Use only during the build phase, and I will use it on Sasha Bordeaux. Formation doesn't matter if you can hit hidden anyway, so we'll just do that. So that simply means if you team attack to get her, all of your attackers would be stunned.
Sure. Please exhaust a ready character you control.
Yeah. Let me make sure I'm on camera there. Yeah, he's still on camera. Do you pop Le Crime Doctor?
I gotta, right? If I don't, you can just stun him and I would lose him anyway.
Yep. This way you might get to recruit him again.
I will be attacking Sasha.
And your attack right now is 7.
7.
So I will activate this to give myself 1 defense.
I don't do breakthrough if it matters to you.
And then I will power up. My defense is 8.
And then I will use Striker's Island.
Forgot about that. That's worth
Would
2.
you like to undo what you did?
I'll use that. This lasts for the turn for any defender they got, but I'll save the power up. You're right, that was stupid. I totally forgot you had Striker's Island. It's hiding behind your deck. But yeah, it'll work.
Is that a problem?
No, I'll remember it's there now. Maybe. Whoop. Crumb.
Our format is conducive to stream viewers.
Yep,
It
totally.
is not maybe conducive to...
You don't deal breakthrough, but I take 2.
I will
She's
take
still stunned.
3,
She's
yeah.
stunned and then KO'd.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. That's 5. I must pass.
Oh, so I don't need Striker's Island?
Correct.
And then I'll use it on the KG Beast attack. That's 2 more.
Yep. So that's I take 2 from that and then 4 from him.
Correct.
39. Ouch. No, Sasha, you were awesome. And I may or may not have a power up. I will pass again. Jiraxis, ugh.
That was an amusing tap there. Or something? Maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Secrets? And the lies?
Mm-hmm. Aw. One turn off from that being real cool.
Oh, crud. I'm gonna do the thing.
Alright, I gotta think for a second here.
I can do the thing.
I don't like it. I don't like you doing the thing. I guess I am going to do this now. I'll flip the Brother Eye satellite. When I flip it, I may discard a character card. If I do, search your deck for a Checkmate character card. I will discard the power up. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Might be that. Might not be that. Might actually be that. Got a couple of options. Bear with me just a second here. It is my initiative, so that's going to matter a great deal. Where's the card that I thought that I had? There's the card. Are you good? Do I want you now? Yeah, I'm gonna search for, actually, he's a 4-drop. Huh. I had not mathed well. Alright, yeah, I will search for, Maxwell Lord.
He's quite large.
He's quite large. Maxwell Lord says when he is put in a KO'd pile from play, lose the game. Also, I may discard a location card. And target character loses all team affiliations this turn and cannot use payment powers this turn. But I may only use that power during the combat phase and only once per turn. I will recruit him. And this will be my formation.
Do you have the thing that protects him yet?
Not that is revealed, if I have it.
What do I do?
What does he do? What does he do? Boop boopy doo.
Whenever Catwoman stuns a defender, choose one, draw a card, or target player discards a card.
Whenever she stuns a defender, are you choosing to put her concealed or visible?
Nope, she's visible.
And KG Beast is I select and exhaust a character during your attack step.
Yep. What to do in this situation?
I have a similar feeling.
Maybe that's the wrong recruit. That's interesting.
Would you like to reconsider? It's only been...
I'm thinking about it.
Very good, very good.
I'm thinking.
I will remind you that after you have decided who you are recruiting and are forming, I must decide if I'm going to use Adrian Chase.
Yeah. Yes, obviously I would not. Obviously I would not.
You would? It's true. I know that you wouldn't. I say things for our streamers.
That it might be right. I think it's right, and I think I'm formed.
So
It's
then-
not great. I'm not happy with my board position.
Yeah. So I've got to think about, do I use Adrian Chase's power? Is that valuable? I could do a very weird thing, but I don't think it's useful. So what is useful? You've put me in, of course, a position where I either have to contend with Charaxis, you're playing inmate, which means I must fear, because I never effing remember which of your decks have No Man's Land. That one has No Man's Land. That does mean you could potentially simply exhaust a character of your choosing, which would be very, very bad for me, circumstantially. So it could do that. You would do that. Can I get away with that?
Resource row is funny.
I do that. You will do that, and we'll be left with only one choice, which will be that. What do I get out of that exchange?
Did I read Catwoman?
You did. It was a while ago. You can read it again.
I don't need to. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure I do.
Yeah, it's discard or draw. She's an or choice upon stunning a defender.
Oh.
And how many cards are in your hand?
There are 4 cards in my hand.
4 cards in my hand. How many cards in my hand?
Oh, I need to do something before I forget.
Yes, yes.
I'm going to play the hookup. To play, choose 2 different affiliations from among characters you control. I will choose Gotham Knights and Arkham Inmates. Ongoing crossover the chosen affiliations. And I may discard a Gotham Knights character card to draw a card. That I may do only once a turn.
I have to hit Charaxis. I can't take the chance. So I'm going to use Maxwell Lord to attack Charaxis. I am currently as printed.
My attack is 7.
That's true. Charaxis is only KOs things when he stuns a defender, exhausted defender. Is that correct?
He stuns an exhausted defender. Yes, you are right. Every way.
Cool.
That is not a thing that I can do.
That was lovely.
Thank you.
Vaguely Nightmare Before Christmas-esque. It's not a thing that I can do. Do I do it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That is not a thing Ian does. Ian does. Will he do it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. make me do first, too.
I have one more defense than I need you to have, and that makes me sad.
Fair enough.
And I might be able to overcome it with some really crazy lucky top decking.
Boy, that sounds like a
okay.
gamble. Gamble and a half.
But if I don't do that, I just get wrecked this turn.
Can you read me Structures Island again?
Target attack you control gets +1 attack for each different cost among face-up resources you control.
Okay.
I have to accept.
Okay.
Oh boy,
All accept?
Am I gonna die this turn?
Are you accepting?
I think so.
Oh my word.
I think so.
Dear, what would you like to do with your ramen? Should we not have it on the table?
This could be very bad. Yeah, I accept. I will take 10.
Whoa! I don't like that. You're going for Maxwell Lord with KG Beast. What is happening?
That would be nice. I wonder if I could. Probably not. It's a tall order.
Tall order.
Probably not.
Probably not.
No, I'm gonna go for him with Captain.
Seems safer. I have to exhaust someone, correct?
Yeah, please exhaust a ready character.
Well, we'll exhaust Jacob Lee. Perhaps unsurprisingly, but
What?
yeah, shocking him up. So if I do nothing at all, if I do no things, your attack matches my defense.
That's true.
But my attack at least exceeds your defense. So currently, we would be stunned.
That's true.
So I am going to play. It's kind of weird. I feel clever about this. Rook control. Rook control says, it's not unique, interestingly. I didn't realize that. Activate. Move a hidden character you control to your visible area. If you do, move target visible checkmate character you control to your hidden area. I will give defending support row characters +1 defense.
Okay. I will boost my attack by 2.
I'll make you use it. That's just fun. So we are stunned, and I will take a point of breakthrough now as well. Would you like me to discard or you to draw?
I'm going to draw.
So let me think here. 5, 6. It takes 6 damage. 6 is what the math tells me.
Why are you so interesting? Alright.
It's just my nature. So are you doing more things at this precise moment?
I am.
Woof. Woof.
I am.
Woofily do.
Does it even matter?
No.
I don't think it
It
does.
doesn't. Don't do that thing that you thinking about doing.
So, I'm going to use the hookup to discard Tallyman to draw a card.
Okay.
Whenever Tallyman is discarded, you may remove him from the game and exhaust an Arkham inmate's character control. If you do, KO target stunned character.
I will flip threat neutralized. Target checkmate character you control gets +1/+1 this turn. I will select Adrian Chase Vigilante. Ongoing. If a card would be put into a KO pile from play, instead remove it from the game. It's removed from the game, so I don't lose it. It's still good play. You still get rid of my giant character, but I do not instantly.
Oh, interesting. This will help.
I don't like that.
The card I drew was Chilly Reception, which I may play only during my attack step, which it technically still is. And I will exhaust target visible character.
Oh!
Saved my butt.
Oh, that's brutal.
Whew.
Wow, that's brutal.
Still get to hit me.
I don't have anything to lose now, I guess, but I don't get a counter.
So I'm gonna take. I think that's 5.
Yeah.
Ouch. But I live.
I take 1. Yeah, he's done. I won't flip him, but I take 1.
Now the question is, with initiative, is it better to have Charaxus or Catwoman?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What am I going to play?
I am going to ready my characters. Might even draw if you do not object.
I do not object.
Exhausted Adrian Chase. That made me sad. It's a sad thing you did. Sad. Really did not want that. Would you mind terribly if I threw Brother Eye Satellite in there? I meant to do that.
Oh, sure.
It's 4 attack.
Oh, Jesus.
1 for each location. I should have done that.
Jesus. I think I'm not gonna win this game.
Well,
I think.
maybe.
Well, I'm going to recruit. Oh, I have to play research, don't I? What a weird draw.
Sure wish you didn't have initiative. That was a sad tale.
I'm going to recruit Crime Doctor,
Yep. I thought you might.
and I'm going to play the usual suspects. I'm going to go get Riddler.
4 drop. Yep. I was gonna say now it's time for Riddler.
Firefly. I'm going to go into my hand, and then I'm going to discard 2 cards of pain.
Alright. I see how it is. Man. I got a big life advantage, but you're starting to do stasis-y stuff. Charaxus is kicking my ass. Charaxus actually...
He's kicking my ass, too.
Well, I guess that's fair. Charaxus is a pretty good match against Checkmate. Checkmate doesn't really go much beyond turn 5. So,
okay, good. This deck
like
doesn't either.
I basically need to like win now, or I will gradually fall behind.
These are the cards I just picked.
Yes.
No, those are my hand.
Yes.
These are the cards.
Yes.
2 of these are going away forever.
Yep. Gazebo. Alright, I must select 2 cards. The first card that I will select is this one, which is Riddler.
Lost the Riddler.
He does not have an escape power. The next card that I will select. We're going to do the other middle one this time. Hey, I did it!
Firefly.
I never
darn
do
it.
that.
I'm going to play the usual suspects again. I'm going to get the Riddler and Firefly. I'm going to do it again. Riddler.
Well, maybe I'll do it again then, huh?
Maybe.
How'd you feel about that? Man, I felt so good about pulling that off. I never get both of them. The whole point of the card is that I don't get both of them. You've got to have another one in there. There's no way you don't.
I don't have another Firefly.
You don't? You only got 1 Firefly?
Maybe. So what does that mean?
I don't know. I'm confused and afraid now.
Oh, that means...
You're going to search for another Charaxus
Oh,
and recruit him
God.
and KO your current big Charaxus? Because that'd be great.
That means no. That means I search for a penguin and a telegram.
That was my impression of tired penguin.
He sounded like, I heard a rumor today they just cast him for the DCU.
Oh, penguin. Interesting. Who did you hear the cast?
I don't remember I don't remember his name. The guy who plays Olaf in Frozen. He was a comedian. I don't know how he became an actor, but I know they're casting him in a whole bunch of stuff now.
I don't remember.
Do you know who I mean?
Maybe.
Like a stubby, chubby guy with curly hair.
Stubby, chubby, curly. The man.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, so all I got to do, here we go. Let's watch the magic live on the stream. We're going to select We're gonna start here. Actually, we're
This
gonna
one?
say,
Alright.
yeah, that's a card.
This card is the Penguin.
Wah, wah, wah.
Whenever the Penguin is discarded, I may remove him from the game. If I do, return target Arkham inmate's character card from KO pad to your hand. And that card will be
Oh, clever.
the Riddler. And now we're going to
You're
shuffle
going
again.
to have to shuffle again.
Oh, God. Let's remove from the game. So now there are 2 Riddlers in here.
So, yeah, 2 Riddlers.
No, there's only 1 Riddler.
Okay, now I'm with you.
Boo. I wanted there to be 2 Riddlers.
You
There
did.
are not.
I wonder if we're doing this right, or if the effect of me selecting 2 would happen, and then the penguin.
That's probably the case. That's probably the case. So I should remove
You
the
should
Riddler.
remove the Riddler.
You are correct.
And you get him. Very
He
clever.
comes back, but you get to.
See, I didn't know I was
supposed.
supposed to not
Yeah.
pick penguin. This will be the other card.
The other card is Cagey Beast.
I'm okay getting rid of KG Beast. I guess like very, very clever to get penguin to get Riddler back. It's a good play.
Well, I'm going to recruit the Riddler. What?
Yeah.
Bet you didn't see that coming.
Sure
It
didn't.
was really out of
Sure
the blue.
didn't.
The Riddler's power is at the start of my attack step. I may discard a card at random. If I do, exhaust target visible character.
What does Crime Doctor just any 2 characters? Pop them in your hand.
2 target characters
Your attack stop.
during my attack step. Yeah, that's great.
Man, that sucks. Different cost among resources you control is still 2.
That is why my resource room is annoying.
Yep.
I've played 5 face-up resources, and I have 2 costs among them.
So with
To be
nothing
fair,
else,
they kind of cap out at 3. But
nothing else, you could get char access to 9. He's 7 inherently, and you could get him to 9. I will recruit Roy Harper Arsenal.
oh no,
Well,
that's really bad for me.
You're gonna go for him.
He has to activate to do it though. Oh, that helps.
He does, yeah. So he has
Thank goodness.
2 powers. He has exhaust 2 locations you control. Roy Harper gets +1 attack this turn. He also has activate KO a resource you control. Stun target attacker with attack less than Roy Harper's attack. And I am going to form a form like this, but I am going to fire Vigilante's power on Roy Harper. So all characters that attack him and stun him will become stunned.
Well, start of my attack step, I will discard a card at random and exhaust Roy Harper. As per the Riddler's power.
Just discard a card at random to exhaust target character.
Yep.
Yeah.
50-50 odds. It's Firefly.
I don't know if that was what you wanted or not, but it was Firefly. Gotta pop Crime Doctor.
Yep.
just to save a little time, I'm going to move a hidden character I control visible. And then a checkmate character I control hidden.
Okay.
Just on the off chance you don't have any anti-hidden.
Wow, what you just did actually, I think, worked in my favor tremendously.
Does it?
I think so.
Well, can you kill me? How much damage do you
Does
have?
Brother
I should probably
Eye,
do
does
that.
Brother Eye work on attack
Yeah,
and
only
defense?
only
Only
attack.
Okay.
Let me think about that. I was trying to protect Harper.
You gave me breakthrough by doing that.
Yeah, it's the question is how much. So I'm not going to get to attack. Maybe you can just kill me. You would still have to exhaust both my characters, so your total attack would be 17, 20 something. Crap, is that the wrong? That's terrible.
I think it's the wrong play.
Uh,
It's a much better position
right.
for me.
You're correct. Thank you for observing that was dunderheaded. Boy, you're right. That's terrible.
Well, the advantage is I don't have life to play with, so I'm kind of going to stall probably. And I'm not really stalling anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, the issue is I also don't stall anything. We're past my game, so I actually need to play defensive and rely upon my initiative next turn to win, which means I have to play conservative, which means I basically have to let you pummel Roy Harper, which I don't like. I just have to make it costly for you.
The funny thing about that is I can't.
Not without team attacking, and then all you do is done.
Team attacking Roy Harper loses me the game. So,
Yeah, I mean, not this turn, but it would potentially be bad. You know? Right, because you have to play this to maintain character advantage. Yeah. That's funny. Yep, we killed off chat by playing versus system. It's okay.
did we?
Well, sort of. Like
Oh,
we were.
I see. Sure.
It's different. I mean, it's reasonable to, when we're actively conversing with folks versus focused on the game. It's a
All
transition.
right, I gotta attack your 4-drop
Yeah.
with Jar Axes.
Still a good play. Your attack is 7.
Yep.
I mean, not what I can do, so.
I have to pop Crime Doctrine. I really wish I didn't.
You have to do it.
I should.
You can't let them sick.
I should have concealed Crime Doctrine. That's what I needed. Or not protected.
Yeah.
That would have made it a better situation for me.
So I am KO'd, which means I'm removed from the game.
Take 3.
Yep. Yeah. Now do you? Yeah. I guess you still
Can't do anything.
Yeah. Maybe you settle. Interesting. Interesting.
Man.
Mans oh mans.
What is this? Gotta keep Jar Axes. He is most likely not useful.
Next turn he is less useful because you will be defending. And he is a defensive liability. Though he is also a target, but no, I'll tell you why it's okay to get rid of Jar Axes, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but next turn, I don't care if he KOs anyone because the game's going to end.
That's true.
So he does
I'm
not
just wondering
become...
if he has 7 attack.
Yep.
If
You're
that's a
saying
deterrent.
if you pass, do you keep it? You're passing.
Yes.
I understand. Okay. I don't know.
Yes. Sorry.
Your ideal situation is that we're going in with even characters, but yours are bigger, which means you have a character advantage. So that the position there is.
This is this is why that
Well,
fucking guy.
yeah, I mean, you've still got really he's only a 4/4. I've dealt
But
you.
he can beat Jar Axes is the important part.
That's true. That's true. But really, you definitely have... you actually have board position here. If you keep Charaxus, you've got 7 extra attack on the table. And your cumulative attack is much higher than mine. And I have more hidden characters. So, you've just got to get through my visible stuff and you can hit me clean. Which is where that 7 attack will make. Can Charaxus deal no breakthrough?
He cannot deal breakthrough. So he's only useful if he gets to attack somebody who's smaller than your current visible character.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's why it's a tough decision.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Boy, he's an interesting character. God, I hate him, though. The chime was heard.
That's true. I think it's right to keep him,
Yeah,
even though it might just be like 3 damage or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm going to draw some cards. I'm going to ready some dudes and draw some cards.
Okay, that got weird.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it does change the calculus a little bit.
Maybe so. All right.
So that's my resource, but you have initiative.
Do have initiative. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to recruit Sarge Steele. He has a boost, which I'm not going to bother paying. He's a character of the range. He says, if a character protected by Sarge Steele would become stunned, instead you may stun Sarge Steele.
You did it!
Oh.
Yay!
Oh, it's
Congrats.
exhausting. His boost is that I can KO a character who costs 1 or less. I'm not going to bother with that. I'm also going to recruit Graziella Reza. She's a 4/5 3-drop. And exhaust a location I control to give her +1 attack for the turn. Need to think for just a moment about my formation. That might be right. I think that's right. We'll do that. We'll do that.
Oh, that's so bad. What?
Yeah.
I'm going to discard Harley Quinn to draw a card. When Harley Quinn is discarded, I may remove her from the game. If I do, target character gets -2 defense this turn. I will choose Roy motherfucking Harper.
Motherfucking Harper, you jerk. Roy motherfucking Harper hates having his defense reduced by Harley Quinn.
Yeah. And then I'm going to recruit Crime Doctor. I'm going to put Crime Doctor behind Charaxus.
It's not bad.
And then I'm going to put the Riddler behind Catwoman.
I don't see them here. Riddler behind Catwoman. Yep. That's a lot of exhaust. It's almost like you noticed I don't have flight, which is irritating.
I think I made it through the turn doing that. I'm not sure. I didn't make it through the turn very well.
You may have. Man, what a predicament. So then my play exhaust 3 freaking characters. That's peeving. Is there any way, the only way I can get... That's absurd. That's absurd. Exhaust any 3 characters. Don't have to exhaust anyone to do it. You have to pop Crime Doctor. You have positioned Riddler where unless something changes, he does not have range. He will still get to attack with either Charaxus or Catwoman, depending on who I go for. Boy, I wish I had flight right now. Sure do wish I had flight. So what is the way, by exhausting my whole team, the only way I can win, it's so annoying, you can even reinforce with those characters. Even reinforce with them, I'm so sad.
Yeah, I'm being clever.
How do I make this work? Is there a way? So I do that. I think I have to open that. I think Roy Harper must attack Catwoman. And I am going to exhaust 2 locations to increase his attack by 1 for the turn.
Okay.
My attack is 10.
Okay. We're stunned?
If nobody does anything else, we're stunned, you take a point of breakthrough.
Right. I will reinforce.
I'm going to get stunned. I'll take 5.
I will... discard a card. Discard Tallyman. When Tallyman is discarded, I may exhaust a character and remove him from the game to KO target stunned character.
Oh, Lord. You should take your 5 damage.
Yep.
Gotta do it. So you haven't exhausted anyone with Riddler yet, as well. There.
Oh, thank you for reminding me.
Can Riddler... Well, Crime Doctor can get anyone. So it doesn't matter whether...
I will discard my remaining card to exhaust. Let me look at it.
Steel is doing nothing right now. She gets attack bumps.
I'm going to exhaust Steel.
Sure.
I pop Crime Doctor to exhaust the 2 hidden characters. And then I attack Grazzy.
Yep. My one saving grace here is that you can't exhaust Graziella before attacking her.
No, I don't exhaust. I exhaust her and not him.
Are you sure?
So you have
That would
4
leave me a
locations.
potential attacker. I can get him to 6 with what's on the board.
It's risky. You're right. I don't.
You gotta not get the KO. You already KO'd somebody.
Yeah.
Well, your attack, it's going to work. Your attack is 7. I'm going to give my support row defenders +1
I don't
defense.
have breakthrough, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. There you go. I guess it's like anyway. So I take 3 for that. I must pass. You got the initiative.
1 to 24. It's fine.
I mean,
everything's fine.
Yeah. You're taking. I have a 2-drop, a 3-drop, and 2 1-drops. And whatever I just drew.
Well, that's an interesting choice.
You're an interesting choice.
I'm gonna stack up because it's turn 8.
Yep.
Stack my 3 unusual suspects.
And I can't stack because all my stuff is relevant.
And I will also stack the hookup that I'm playing as my resource and revealing to discard Crime Doctor to draw a card.
Here, there's a bowl soup.
Oh.
I'm gonna throw yours away.
I'm still middling mine. Put yours in the
You
fridge.
can't. That's a different thing than I thought it was. Do you mind if I play a different resource?
That's fine.
Actually, I wanted to play
Your Clover is trying to eat some, considering eating some plastic.
Hey, don't do that. All I've got is Crime Doctor.
He's something. All he's got is Crime Doctor. All he's got is Crime Doctor. Well, I guess you're formed. I did draw my 4-drop, so I'm going to recruit my 4-drop, which is Harry Stein. When Harry Stein is put in the KO pile from play, I lose the game. Knight characters I control get +1/+1. Currently, the only character I have that is not Knight is Harry Stein. That's it.
Okay. I play Screen. Target character gets -2 defense while defending this turn and can be attacked as though it were visible this turn.
Oh, I don't like that.
I will choose your 1-drop. This one. I will discard a card at random to exhaust Harry Stein. I will turn Crime Doctor to my hand to exhaust Grazzy and your other 1-drop. And I think I have to attack. God damn it. He's bigger. That's so silly. You get 5 attack on attack.
4. X is the number of locations
I have to attack your 1-drop with the Riddler. That's dumb.
Yep. Yeah.
And because it might be my last attack,
Yeah, it might.
because it's probable it's my last attack, I will include both Striker's Island
And
and Blackgate Prison. Activate, discard a card at random. Target Arkham inmate's attacker or defender you control gets +3 attack this attack. So that's a total of 5.
+5.
Yeah.
Nice. Your attack's 12. So 3 of them, I'm going to take 9 for that.
Your defense is 2.
I'll take 11 for that. Down to 13.
I don't need cards to defeat you.
That is not entirely inaccurate, which is alarming. So I can get up to 7 attack with what I have. I have 1 card left. I must attack the Riddler and hope that you can't bolster enough additional attack out of Catwoman to get it. So right now I am 7 attack, and it's actually in my favor. Got 2 more of these threat neutralize. It's an additional 2/2. So I am 9 attack.
Target attacker can't cause breakthrough. This attack will attack an Arkham inmate's defender that's not adjacent to any characters. So I will take 4.
I am stunned.
-3.
So I take 11.
Grazi's +2 in general for the, or +1?
Graziella is +1 for each location I activate.
Just in general.
And in general, she's 1/1. Oh, he was also +1/1. I didn't. Whatever.
I guess I attack her.
Yeah. Your attack is 10.
Yep.
As printed. I will soak 3. I take 7.
I will draw a card. Cool card.
Man.
Yeah, I'll take. Well, I made it interesting.
Boy, you did. I mean, 4 to -3.
I think you probably could have got Catwoman, no?
No. Well, let me think. 3. No, it's 1 shot.
No, with that my attack. No, you couldn't get it. You were 1 shy.
Oh,
Give
what
her
was your
4.
defense?
9. Yeah.
5, 6, 7,
That
8.
was the riskiest thing I did this turn.
8. I could have gotten 8. I should have saved. I should have saved those. I did not anticipate reinforcement, however. But yeah, I should have just saved them because I
enjoyed the game. It
yeah.
was a fun game. I really had to work at it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I did. I should have saved those too, because if I'd done the math, I would have been like, oh, I might be able to get the counter stun against Catwoman. But at that point, I was like, oh, I just got to push you as far negative as possible. Which was a minor misplay that did not affect the outcome. Yeah, jeez, oh man, boy, the stall is so real in that deck.
I like this deck. It's a very technical deck. I know it's not fun to
Checkmate
play
as well.
because it's a stall deck.
Well, it's okay. I mean, that deck...
It doesn't capitalize on the stall very well, which is what makes it technical.
Yep. No, I mean, it's weird. It's a weird deck. And it was a weird matchup, because, of course, Checkmate's also actually pretty technical. There's a lot of things in play at any given moment that I'm trying to balance. And then on top of that, there is the fact that both our decks cap early, which is a weird relationship. And I think in the late game that ultimately started... Oh, crap. I forgot about some cards that I removed from the game. I had Charaxis with that goddamn armor. Oh, that was terrible. It was so terrible. I couldn't get rid of that asshole. But yeah, like... In that deck, more than some of the other ones, like, its stall is so good. But I do feel like you very clearly have to give something up to do it. It's one of the more, like, there's a more visible trade-off. But it's rough, man. That was a rough fight. And you did a good job exploiting the fact I didn't get flight. And I do have... I don't have much flight.
Sports card is flight.
Yeah, that's right. The sports car... Tricked Out Sports Cars flight. I don't know if they have...
Is your other equipment also flight? It might be.
I don't think so. I don't remember. I'm gonna look.
I enjoyed that matchup.
I think I have 2 other equipment types in here. At least one
I
of them.
unfaced my cards. Chris is going to be angry with me.
Oh, why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? Why'd you do it?
I don't know. I don't seem to perceive their facing any longer.
Clearly you need more food or something. My other equipment does not have... I think when I did a tweak to this deck, I kept it to only one other equipment type. I think it's got 8 equipment.
I also don't have very much flight.
No, totally. But my deck is less about key cards like that, so you were smartly exploiting that. Like, it took effort. It wasn't like, aha, you just don't have flight. It was, you made some very clever plays and stalls, and you got it damned close. This was a close freaking game. And I was feeling it get closer and closer. I'm thinking, this is going to be a real problem quite soon. This is not deck 7.
Wow. Well, let's do one more quick one and then call it.
Yeah, I guess so. That's all right. We had some good conversation.
Good conversation and a long. I think there was a long game too.
So, do you have a preference between S or A?
I have more A's and fewer S's, so probably A
Let's
is
do
better.
A. Let's do A. That's fine. I'm happy making a judgment call. Yeah, this one is indeed A.
Funny game.
That was a strange game. Yeah. 7 is the number.
The color of the deck that always comes up. Is it the deck that always comes up? It is the deck that always comes up. I don't know why the
Quit
deck's
putting
always
it where you roll the dice.
Well, I think these dice are not weighted very well, as most commercial dice aren't.
I feel like you don't always roll 7, though. I feel like you don't roll the same number, but you get the same deck anyway. It's like your decks change
That would be
order.
a stupid deck to play after that one. I'll roll some more. I'll just keep on rolling.
Yep,
10.
yep.
10 is something new and interesting, it seems like.
I demand a random
There you
outcome
go.
that I
There
want.
you go. I need to write, or I need to figure out how to say it every week.
Hmm?
The bag sort.
The bag.
I was thinking about writing a phone app to do it.
Oh, that'd be clever.
Although, as a professional engineer who has time to and energy
Well.
to program on the weekends and stuff.
Yeah, to be clear, we were talking about a game I made earlier this evening. I took a vacation day from work, so I had the energy to work on it. And I ended up working on it on
Yeah,
my
it's
Saturday
really
as
toasty
well.
in here. That's part of the reason I'm
Yep,
slowing
the
down.
heat is actually off. There's no heat on right now. But the dishwasher may have warmed up the room a bit, or added to the humidity. Adds some nice lethargy to the air.
Yeah. Ooh.
Lethargy.
I will say,
Yeah.
speaking of the Penguin and his casting in the movie, yeah, I get to roll. I'm going to roll the inner die again.
Inner die again. Served well the first time. No, it was a great roll.
I have one.
You did.
These guys go. Oh, crud. Where do these guys go? I think they go either probably odds then.
I'm going to keep this. Boy, we'll see how that goes.
I don't like the TV show Gotham. It's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But those are some useful cards that I will throw away.
True
The casting of
story.
Penguin in that show is really good. Interesting.
Oswald Chesterfield Copperfot. Copperpot? Copperfot. Oswald Chesterfield Cofflepot. Coffee. I think it's Chesterfield. I think his middle name's Chesterfield.
Probably something like that.
It's ridiculous.
Wow, this is a very strange draw. It is very strange.
Did you go odds?
I did go odds.
So it's an odd draw and an odd deck.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
I choose not to recruit anyone on turn 1. What do you think of that?
I will make a similar choice, given that temptation.
Pretty tempting. This draw is awful and weird and awful.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I feel you. It's my initiative. I'm going to recruit Blade. Blade is a 2-cost character. It has an additional cost to recruit him. I must reveal a Marvel Knights character card from my hand. I'll reveal your favorite Luke Cage.
My favorite Luke Cage.
Your favorite Luke Cage.
He's an
Luke
alright
Cage.
Luke Cage.
He also gets +1/+1 while equipped. And I got kind of a weird choice. That's weird. going to put a War Wagon on him. War Wagon costs 1 less to recruit while I control a Marvel Knights character, which I do. Equip character has activate. KO, target stunned character. This controller loses endurance equal to its cost. But for this turn, it's more likely that I will just be getting one. Don't know if that was the right choice. I guess we'll find out.
I think we have a bad matchup.
Towel throw bad?
Yeah, well, I'm not recruiting anybody with this turn, which makes it worse, but...
Well, I might not be recruiting anyone next turn. But I'm not sure yet. I've got 2 cards that may change that.
Alright, well, we'll go another round, I guess.
Sure.
But yeah, we're pretty close.
Okay, that's fair enough. So you are not recruiting anyone.
Yep.
I'm going to attack for 4.
Alright, take 4. Yeah, bad matchup. What on earth is going on here?
So now your initiative.
Yep. I'm going to recruit Dagger. Dagger is a Spider Friends character and empowers activate. Target player loses 1 endurance for each card in his hand. Use this power only during your attack step. I'm also going to put a Titan's Communicator on Dagger. Equipped character gets +1 defense and has range and gains the Teen Titans affiliation. The character gains an additional 1 defense. I'm sorry. If it has Cosmic. No, that's right.
She does not have Cosmic.
Should be transferable.
+1
then
defense.
I'm going to play 31st Century Metropolis.
31st Century
As an
Metropolis.
additional cost to play 31st Century Metropolis, choose up to 2 team affiliations among characters you control. I would choose Spider Friends and Teen Titans. Cross over the chosen affiliations, activate. Target character you control gains the chosen affiliations this turn.
What were the affiliations you chose?
Teen Titans and Spider Friends.
Okay. I did not draw a 3-drop.
Okay.
The blade's scary looking.
War Wagon is just a power.
Yep. Though he gets +1/+1 while equipped.
Right. So how many cards in your hand?
It is 5.
So it is correct to activate Dagger, depending for the number of cards in your hand.
That's probably fair. 4/5 it is. 4/5. 4/5. I'm gonna pass.
That is probably correct as well. I don't understand how these are cards.
Feel that. Yeah. I am going to recruit Luke Cage. Luke Cage is concealed and big. He has pay 3 endurance. Luke Cage can attack hidden characters this turn. Whenever a character an opponent controls is KO'd or put in a KO pile during the combat phase, draw a card.
Truly nothing I can do. Oh, it's so bad.
Nothing?
This is what I do. I recruit Madam Web. Whenever a Spider Friends character I control uses an activated power, gain 2 endurance. Also activate. Look at the top 2 cards of target player's deck. You may put those cards into that player's KO'd pile or return them to the top of his deck in any order.
Seems legit. I'm going to tag Madam Web. Great.
I will look at the top 2 cards of my deck.
Oh, that's interesting. Either player. Fascinating.
I think that's how it works, right?
Is it either
Look
player?
at the top 2 cards of target player's deck.
Yeah,
and
you can
put those
target
cards
yourself.
in that player's
Yep,
KO
yep.
pile or return them to the top
For
of
some
his
reason, I
deck
just
in
assumed
any
you would mess
order.
with my stuff, but it's definitely useful to use on yourself in this instance.
One good and one bad. That's sad.
You have to do the same thing with both.
Yeah. Although the good one's not good enough.
Yeah, well, that's important knowledge.
Jeez. And then I will reinforce.
Sure. Well, I'm going to flip Hell's Kitchen, which is a location. I may only flip it if I control a Marvel Knights character, and whenever a character an opponent controls is put in their KO pile during the combat phase, that opponent discards a card of their choice. I'm going to attempt to KO Madam Web.
This is such a terrible matchup. It'll work.
Draw one for Luke Cage.
Oh, come on. Come the fuck on.
Shall we reset, or do something and then play haphazardly, see if we can squeeze in another game in 17 minutes?
Let me see what's going to happen this turn.
We do have initiative.
Yep. So I'm going to do that and that.
True on both fronts.
That's going to happen. I'm going to do that.
Yep.
I will do that.
With you.
And it's slightly better position for next turn, but not good position. You have more life, you have more powers. Such a bad matchup.
That's unfortunate.
Like, I'm in a
Just like
reasonable
ideally
position to
bad.
crowd of a hole if you weren't playing a KO deck that really benefits from not being fought.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Benefits from not being fought. Right, because it allows me to...
You just KO all you want every turn.
Right,
and I
because
can't
you
stop
don't
it.
attack. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting sort of relationship. I mean, the argument could be made that you sacrifice some of your ping in favor of stunning my lower tier characters, but I don't know. I mean, I've got a decent play this turn. So if your hole is severe enough, we're not rolling in extra time, but maybe we can sloppily play a game, speed versus.
Well, it's going to be a dumb game if we keep going. So
Fair enough.
I will stop.
Fair enough. So the question is, do we have enough energy to try again?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to...
I have infinity energy.
Your infinity energy may have run out infinity minutes ago.
That's true. It has been infinity minutes.
Shall we try again in the A tier?
Sure.
I will select a different deck.
Hey, Gisa, I'm going to play these guys again.
Sure.
Because I like them and I want them to work, and they might not actually work against any of your units, but they especially don't work against that one.
You just have to give me a moment, as I did do some deck pre-selection. I'm a little more organized than I sometimes am, so hopefully it won't take too long. I feel like we'll go for it. Only these guys. Yeah, it's sort of funny. I didn't really think about how that might be a bad matchup until sort of your observation. I figured you were getting a bad draw, which may or may not have been the case. But maybe it is just
It was a pretty bad draw.
matchup.
Yeah.
Because like you just do your thing, and then hope I don't punch through a bunch of characters to KO your stuff. But when I don't have to punch through a bunch of characters to KO your stuff, that's not so good. Asymmetry's part of it, I guess. Oop, hey, I know how to shuffle like a pro. All right, Chris. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. We do appreciate your company as always. Yep, that's how it works.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yay, Chris is playing Zelda. That's fine.
Yay, Chris and Zelda. Hutter won by a small margin that time, but it did win. I'm going all the way back to 50 life, and you can't stop me.
It's true. I think I can't keep these either. Boy, come on, man. Help me out. Deck.
Do I have to
Deck.
discard this?
Oh, there we go. There's some stuff. There's some stuff. That's not good. Why can't you be good?
I'm going to keep this stupid hand. It's stupid, but I'm going to keep it. Can't decide if that is better. What'd you go? Sorry, odds?
You won, didn't I?
No, you did.
I won.
You went outer or inner?
Inner. Usually, well, I didn't declare anything. I just.
I should have assumed
inner.
inner because that's what you've been doing. I will go evens.
Okay. In which case, I have the Quadians from Quad. Yeah.
Quadians.
Whenever a player loses endurance, if that player has 30 endurance or
Thank you,
less,
Chris. Have a
less
good
than
night.
30, and your Quadians is hidden, move it to your visible area. They also have activate. If target player has 30 or more endurance, that player loses 2 endurance.
I do not have one draw.
I will ping you for 2.
I'm going to take it. Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
Oh, come on. Come on. I can do that.
So, yeah. I'm going to flip up a location. It's Worthington Industries, which is an X-Corp location. And I activate it. I reveal the top 3 cards in my deck. I may put 1 revealed X-Men character card into my hand. The remaining cards on the bottom of your deck. If I put a card into my hand this way, discard a card.
X-Mans.
Interesting.
I can deal with X-Mans a little better.
I am going to... I think I'm gonna not put a character card in my hand.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that's kind of weird. Weird, is that right? Could do that other than. You know what? No, we're gonna do it the weird way. I'm gonna put Jubilee into my hand, and I'm gonna discard Campbell. The other Jubilee. All right. So I did a thing. Or no, sorry. I meant to say I discard. That's what I meant to say. And then those go on the bottom of my deck. Then I'm done. Okay, I got this. And then it's my initiative, and I'm going to recruit Longshot. Longshot he's a 2/3 with range. He's also the hero of Mojo World. And he has pay 0 endurance. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck. Put 2 of those cards in the bottom of your deck, and the rest on the top of your deck in any order. Use his power only once per turn, and only during the recovery phase.
Good power.
I don't know if you have actually seen Longshot before.
I don't remember him. That doesn't mean I haven't seen him. Aggressive deck stacking. It's fun.
Yeah, he's interesting.
Means I'll be dealing with the Blackbird, and that makes me sad. I have more Quadians.
More Quadians. Jeez. Right. Well, I'm going to take it for 2.
Take 2. I'm going to ping you for 4.
Damn it, I'm going to take 4. Nicely job.
I don't think I need to actually wait to do that. I can just do it whenever.
Yeah, but it's more comedic if you play it that way. I'm going to pay 0 endurance on the top 4 cards of my deck, like this one, and this one, and this one, and this one.
You get a card.
You get a card. We're going to leave that one on. I actually must put 2 of those cards on the bottom and 2 on the top. We're going to do that, and... oh, man, that's tough. Probably that. Then we'll draw those 2 cards.
You all set?
Yep. Did my stuff.
Now I will recruit Madam Web again.
Again.
A reminder, her power is whenever a Spider Friends character you control uses an activated power, gain 2 endurance, and also activate. Look at the top 2 cards of target player's deck. You may put those cards into that player's KO'd pile or return them to the top of his deck in any order.
Right.
I will then play Clone Saga.
Clone Saga.
Plain Clone Saga. Play Clone Saga only if you control a Spider Friend character. Ongoing, affiliated characters you control, as well as cards in your deck and hand and KO'd pile, have the Spider Friends team affiliation. This is in addition to their other team affiliations. Everybody's Spider Friends.
Yeah. True that, yeah. I'm going to put down a resource. It's going to be this one. And then, I'm going to recruit Cannonball and Jubilee. Cannonball can't be stunned while attacking. Jubilee says pay 0 endurance. Target opponent loses 2 endurance. But I can only do that power once per turn, and only during the recovery phase. And I'm going to form like that, I think.
Well, I'm going to ping you for 4 and gain 4 life.
How do you gain the 4 life? Oh, it's every time you use an activated power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do. Jeez, 52, what the hell?
I think I need to attack Cannonball.
Yeah. I'll be stunned, and I'm going to take a point of breakthrough. I guess that's okay. Yeah, stunned, take a point of breakthrough. So take 37. I'm just going to team attack you for 3, and then if we hit the recovery phase, I'm going to pay 0 endurance to ping you for 2 more.
Ping is faster.
Also, at the end of my turn, I'm going to look at the top 3. Or actually, do I do long shots power first? I'm going to do long shots power first. This card, this card, this card, this card. And on top of my deck, we are going to do... Yes, that. I'm going to activate Worthington Industries to look at 3 cards, reveal 3 cards, put a character card into my hand, rest on the bottom of my deck. Or character cards in my hand, rest on the bottom of the deck, and then I discard the card. Now discard. So. And then all the ready and shit. Then I'm going to draw 2 cards. Man, this deck is crazy. It's doing weird things right now. Then, put down a resource. And activate Worthington Industries. Top 3 cards in my deck. I'm going to put Cannonball into my hand. And then discard Archangel. Okay, I sure did a lot of stuff. It is my initiative. I'm going to recruit Psylocke. Psylocke has range. I may discard a mental card to negate target effect from a non-ongoing plot twist. Use this power only once per turn, and only if a mental character I control is attacking or defending. My only mental character at the moment is Psylocke. And I'm going to form like... well, I guess like this. Okay, so you have a good night. Enjoy your long day tomorrow. If such a thing is possible. Thanks for hanging out. Shabba-da-doo. That is what she said, and it was terrifying.
That's weird. I think I gotta do this. That's super weird.
I agree.
I'm going to recruit the Golden Archer.
Golden Archer.
The Golden Archer's power is activate. Target opponent loses 6 endurance, and then that opponent gains 1 endurance for each card in your hand.
Right. Over to me then.
Yep. Hang on.
You saw nothing. Nothing.
Can't do it. All right, sorry. Proceed.
Okay.
Sorry.
No
I
worries.
had to run some quick math.
I get
It's
you.
always fun.
It is fun. I'm going to flip Extreme Maneuver. Play Extreme Maneuver only during your attack step. As an additional cost to play it, exhaust 2 X-Men characters you control. To exhaust target character, choose Golden Archer. The controller, pardon me, that character cannot ready this turn, and you are pinged for its cost.
Oh man, that thing I hate. It's so bad.
Jerk card.
You can't ready. I will exhaust him
Of
to
course.
ping you for. It's just 2.
Yeah, but you gain 2 from it as well.
Gain 2.
But then you are pinged for 4. Oh, I shouldn't have set an additional number as you were spinning the die. That was a risk.
And I didn't take that already.
I don't
I
even.
thought I did, but I'm not
maybe
sure.
you did. Maybe you did that right away. You were ahead of the curve. You were at 52, so that's probably you probably accounted for it.
Okay. We'll have to check the tapes on that one.
Yeah. Actually, if you were at 52 and I'm correct about that, then you would be at 50 now. Because it dealt you 4 from the ping, and then you gained 2.
Was it 52 before your attack last turn? Your attack was 4.
Yeah, probably not. So you're probably
4.
48. Lost
And
4
then
to
you
44.
I lost
and then
6. I was at
gained
52 and I lost 6. So is it?
So you would have been at 46. Then you would have lost 4 and gained 2. So you'd be at 44 now.
Okay.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yes. That sounds all correct.
I accept. So I am then going to attack Madam Web.
Yeah.
For 3. For 3. Oh, 3.
Well, I will ping you for. I'll ping you for 4 and gain 4.
3-1. When do those guys pop visible?
As soon as anybody's below 30.
As soon as anyone is below 30.
Yep. Yeah.
Interesting.
I will activate Madam Web to gain 2, and look at the top 2 cards in my deck, and maybe put them in my KO pile.
Yep, man. Well, I got you down to 50.
I think I should.
Man, your deck's actually been pretty effective this time. It's doing a lot
It's
of...
not a terrible deck, just not against the KO.
Yeah, it's being nasty right now.
But then... Oh, wait, did I want to do this? I can't. But then, I take 2 breakthrough and 3 5 from that.
Yep.
So, 40. 45.
Yep. It is to you. You have shenanigans.
I do not. Pass.
Alright, so Psylocke is going to attack Golden Archer. I'm going to flip X-Corp Amsterdam, which has 2 activated powers. The second one is complicated, and I don't think I will ever use. The first one is activate target X-Men character you control gets +1 defense this attack. single defense and attacker defense once a turn. One ahead of you.
Cool. Cool. That'll work. I will take
6 is the number. Assuming no stat modification.
2 yeah, 6, 0. Yep.
Assuming there is still no shenanigans on your side of the table, we will both pass. Is that accurate?
That's so bad.
If we do we enter the recovery phase, or are you deciding if we enter the recovery phase? We doth?
That's interesting. I had not considered that possibility. Weird. Yep.
So I will ping you for 2. Look at the top 4 cards of my deck.
I could do 6. OP card.
Good old stupid OP card. It's a jerk card. It's a jerk card.
Not useful.
Just rotate. Let's not get carried away here. Just for kicks, I'm going to play X Corp Paris and activate it to look at the top X cards in my deck, where X is the number of X Corp characters, or pardon me, locations I control, which is 3. And then put any number of those cards in the bottom of your deck and the rest on top of your deck in any order. I'll leave that one on top of my deck. The other 2 on the bottom in any order.
Could probably get Blackbird out this turn. Why is everything terrible? Needed that card to be ready. I need to play a resource, technically. I can do that thing, I suppose. So I'm going to recruit Madam Web and Pyro and the Titan's Communicator on the Golden Archer.
Oh, the Golden Archer. It's a good song. Good song.
You know Madam Web, you know Titan's Communicator. Pyro is activate, target player loses 3 endurance.
Yep. That's true. That's what it is.
And I will do this. I will play 31st Century Metropolis again. Which you know, and I will team up Spider Friends and Teen Titans.
Yep. This is turn 5. I am going to recruit Cyclops. And form like this. Cyclops is a leader character. When a character adjacent to Cyclops attacks, the target opponent loses 2 endurance. So many things. It's interesting. The X-Men are kind of like a team attack ping deck against your ping deck, which is sort of a novel occurrence. I don't know if this matchup has occurred previously. Probably at some point, but I don't recall.
Is it my initiative?
Yes.
That's so bad.
I mean, you could just pass if you want.
You can pump defense, right?
By 1. I can do it once per
Bigger than
turn.
the characters I have.
Yeah, I mean, it matters.
Um,
Depends on who you go for.
I don't fight on anybody.
That's true.
I do pass. You do pass.
Well, yeah, that's interesting. How do I do this? I feel like I have to open with Cannonball. Yeah, Cannonball is going to attack Madam Web. He can't be stunned while attacking. You are pinged for 2. Thanks to Cyclops. I got to go to Madam Web.
First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use her power on me.
Okay. Take your 2 life back.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to activate Accordions to ping you for 2 and gain 2.
Oh, this occurred. Are they now both visible?
I'm going to reinforce.
Oh, clever. Clever girl.
So you're going to need to do that? No.
It actually is probably more useful to just fire their power.
I fire the power.
Yeah.
It does not ping you.
Oh, it stops pinging as well. They're not just visible, they just don't do anything?
Correct.
Oh, interesting.
And finally, fuck it, we'll do it live. I
So did
use
you-
Pyro as well.
Yeah, did you gain your 2 life from activating them?
I did. 41.
Yeah.
And Pyro does ping you for 2.
2 or 3?
2.
Just 2.
I think it's 2. 3. You are correct, sir.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Alright, well, now I gotta make the most of my situation here. I don't have flight. I can't risk not being able to attack with... I think I do the Psylocke versus Golden Archer attack, and then I give myself 1 defense again.
Okay. I think that's gonna work again. That's so sad.
Yay, X-Corp Amsterdam saved me. I did fire that right here this turn as well.
Yep. I will take 1 breakthrough this time. So I will take 5.
And you do get, did you get pinged for 2?
Nope.
Okay.
And ping for 2. I think you're gonna win this game by a lot.
Yeah, I think the next play is to attack. Yeah, yep. We're gonna have to go for the cards. There's no way around it. First, Cyclops will attack Madam Web.
Okay. I will take.
For 9. He does
11.
not ping, but you are just hit for big damages. And then Jubilee will go for a quard that is in front of Pyro.
Take 1.
And we'll go big or go home, and I'll attack Pyro.
Okay.
You are pinged for 2 from that one.
Sink. 4.
Goodness, that was not a favorable turn for you.
Well, I had 1 big character this game, and you locked him down for 2 turns.
Yep. And you probably would have fired him. Well, maybe you wouldn't have last turn. Maybe you would have attacked with him.
Probably would have attacked him.
Yeah, maybe so.
Would have attacked him this turn as well.
I'm going to look at the top 4 cards in the deck with El Longshotto. And I will leave those 2 on top. And then at the start of my turn, I will look at the top 3, reveal the top 3 cards, and put one into my hand.
That's what I
Charge
mean.
a card.
5-drop is so clutch in this deck, I forgot.
Discard that. And these go on the bottom of my deck. I'm going to draw 2 cards. This one and this one. Interesting. Is that was your initiative. Well, I wanted Wolverine and I didn't get Wolverine. I do have Professor X and a Blackbird. Which I guess I put on Professor X. That kind of makes sense. The Blackbird says X-Men characters I control get +2 attack while attacking.
I think that's good. There's no sense in playing.
Fair enough, fair enough. Sorry that was a one-sided conclusion there. But one good game, and it was by far the largest quantity of our time, some good conversation, and then 2 not good games that were admittedly relatively quick. I feel like X-Men actually haven't seen play in a couple of weeks. I think they've been out of circulation for a while, because I haven't played them since I modified a lot of my other decks more heavily. Longshot, I don't think Longshot has seen play yet. I think that's the first time. He's been in there for like 2 months. It's a very, very minor modification, just a little shenanigans to get him in there.
If I had hit 5, I might have been in that game.
That is quite possible. I forget what your 5 is, but I suspect it's ping related.
It's Godfrey. It's Godfrey as well. I didn't say to team up for him, and I should have. But had I had him in my hand, I would have remembered to say
Sure.
to team up for him. He's exhaust your 4-drop and ping you
It's pretty useful.
forever.
Yeah, that's pretty useful.
So that takes Psylocke out of the equation.
Yep, which is pretty
pings you for 4
important.
every turn.
Yeah, that's good. Is it exhaust a character cost 4 or less and ping for cost? Yeah, no, that's pretty legit. Pretty legit. Yeah, that would have been important. Would have definitely made that more interesting. Psylocke hits pretty hard.
It's a very large 4-drop.
Yeah, she's solid.
With a very good power. Well, a circumstantially very good power.
Yeah, circumstantially very good power. Slightly above average stats. I think it's funny. I think a lot of the 4-drops tend to skew towards having that extra point on defense, but she's got it on offense. And I benefited from also having the location to give her the additional defense, so I was able to make her an 8/8, which was very useful.
I think I have too much equipment search in this deck. That might be a mistake.
You got anything else in there besides the communicator?
Nope.
That means if you have more than 4, you definitely have more than you need. But maybe you only want 2.
Well, the interesting thing about the inclusion of the communicator, I've never talked through this, is I no longer have any Teen Titans in this deck. The communicator exists to give characters the Teen Titans affiliation so that I can use some plot twists.
That's clever. It gives them the affiliation?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, I usually don't think of that as consequential.
But that's really the perfect use case of a Titan's communicator. Of course it gives them the affiliation. Hey, you're on the team, now you can use their cool powers. Yeah, we've talked about extreme maneuver a little bit before. I feel like it would be okay if it didn't ping. It didn't need the ping. It's
Well, one or the other. Like,
Yeah.
it has 3 good powers and it needs 2.
Right. It's got exhaust something. It stays exhausted.
Titans communicator is for Born of Blood, who I
Yeah,
always
sure.
try to play on Madam Web, but it has never happened yet.
I think it happened once.
Born
I
of
think it
Blood, of
happened.
course, is recover and move hidden,
Yeah.
and they can't attack, but
But it's
That
Madam
doesn't
Web,
matter.
so you don't
No.
fucking care. Yeah, I think...
technically I can do that on anyone. So
Yeah.
hidden pingers forever. But
Yep.
it's a lot of moving pieces.
It's true.
Doesn't move out.
It's true.
Boy, I'm beat. Well, we're wrapping up.
Yep. It was
And you
good.
say next week should be okay? Nothing unusual going on?
I
E3 is
don't
the
believe so.
following week. I don't even know if I'm going to go to E3.
Yeah, you've been
My-
pretty
I'm
beat
at
and
a,
busy.
Yeah, my project is at an interesting point, so I wanted to go. I've requested
we'll play
the
by
time
ear.
off, but
If it helps, I'll give you. I don't know the date yet. I'll confirm this, but my dad's coming to town at some point in the next month. And I should know offhand and don't, but
okay.
I'll remind myself. And if that overlaps with the E3, maybe it'll be an additional motivator. I don't know.
Sure. Well, it's not my choice.
Oh, I see. It's work's choice. Gotcha. Fair enough. Yeah, I think next week though should be fine.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
You guys have a great
Good
night.
everybody.
Good night.